Greetings and salutations, travelers of the internet. Welcome to the Lit Round Table. I'm Anna.
And I'm Joseph, and today we'll be your wise or not-so-wise mentors for today's audio adventure into all things storytelling. And today, since it's early May, when this is coming out, by the time this episode comes out, May 4th will have come and gone.
Right.
As well as Revenge of the 5th. But we're still going to hit you with some Star Wars stuff today.
Yes. Here for
because
do it.
Star Wars was like one of do it was one of our like original fandoms.
For sure.
I feel like it was like
the
first fandom.
For sure.
Yeah. It was definitely the first fandom thing that we ever were a part of.
Yes. Because we watched the Star Wars movies before I read The Lord of the Rings, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
But at that point, they were like only the original series. Because then the new Star Wars, like the prequels and the Lord of the Rings were kind of coming out at a similar time. Anyway.
You were much more into like the expanded universe books. And I was much more, well, at that age, I was very like action figure Legos.
I was also very into the action figures though. Like we were both into that. We had the whole bucket.
You were.
And we were both like, give them to us.
I think if we were comparing hours, though, like hours played with, I would win.
Oh, sure.
But yes, you were also interested in the action figures. It was a big, Sam's Club.
Yes.
Had this bucket when episode 2 came out. It was chips.
Oh, it was chips?
It was like
I thought it was popcorn.
Yeah. It was a big tin bucket of like Star Wars theme. And I think it fell apart and I had to throw it away because it like just completely fell apart.
Yeah, the seam had gotten loose, and then I think at one point, I mean, it was around for a long time. That bucket got beat up.
Like the lid got sat on and crushed. But anyway, this tin Star Wars bucket that had like a bunch of characters on it and like a quote and like this big Star Wars logo on the top, this tin bucket that had chips in it, got repurposed as our action figure bucket.
Specifically Star Wars action figure.
Oh, yeah. Of course. You got to keep it on theme.
Right. The Lord of the Rings action figures had their own system, but not as good. Star Wars action figure system was far superior.
Absolutely. A lot of fond memories of those action figures. But anyway, like that's the age I was at. I wasn't like reading those books like you were.
Well, do you know how I got started on the Extended Universe books? Have you ever heard this story?
I don't know. I don't know if I have.
So, when I'm guessing I was in middle school. So probably like 6th or 7th grade. We had a book fair at school. And there was, you go to the book fair and you make your list of the things you want and you take them home. And your parents go to parent-teacher conferences and then they pick out the things. Like, kids never bought their own stuff. It was always like mom and dad's bought the stuff during conferences. And I had a Star Wars book about Princess Leia on my list. And by the time mom got in there after conferences, they were all gone. Oh. And it was an age-appropriate Star Wars book, okay? Like, it was a young reader. Not like a kid, like a little, because I was in middle school.
It was middle grade?
It was a middle grade
novelization
of something, Princess Leia.
Yeah, yeah.
So because I remember mom calling me, and I was super bummed. And so she went to, this was when we had a Walden's Books.
Oh,
so memories. Mom went to Walden's Books. Or Walden Books, whatever it was called. And she went and looked at their Star Wars section. I don't know if she didn't... I don't know. I think she looked in like the kids section for a Princess Leia one specifically, but couldn't find that one. And so then she went to the adult Star Wars section and she found The Courtship of Princess Leia. And that was the first adult extended universe Star Wars book that I read.
I didn't realize that was the first one.
That was the first one. I ate it up.
Yeah, because you were all about the Han and Leia.
It was perfect. It was a perfect introduction.
Romance. Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I I wonder. I should read it again because I wonder if it had more adult stuff in it that I just like
Didn't realize.
didn't have a concept for.
Went right over your head.
But I mean, in general, my memory of reading all the extended universe was that like if anything like sexual happened, it always cut to black. It was never like you were never reading a romance novel. Yeah. It was you were reading a Star Wars book that sometimes included some romance.
Yeah.
But not like nothing explicit. So I mean a pretty safe thing for a kid to accidentally stumble into as far as like that is concerned. Pretty violent. But like that's Star Wars.
Star Wars is violent.
Yeah.
People are losing limbs all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This leads me to a question. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a pretty organic conversation. I have some questions or some topics typed up that we can cover, and this is a good segue into one of them. Mm-hmm. What is it? Expanded universe, extended universe?
I'm not sure. I know, like when I was younger, it was definitely called the extended universe.
Okay.
But I think as Disney has taken over, the language around it has changed because now they're referred to as legacy.
There you go.
And they're not canon. Although a couple of them are.
Some characters have.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that's been published since. Like some of them have the like, not literally, but they have like the Disney logo on them. Mm-hmm. You know, like the Thrawn books, the Ahsoka books.
There were Thrawn books that existed before, and they've been reprinted. I think they still say Legacy on them, but they've been like... And we've talked about them. Oh, that was in a bonus episode, I think. Anyway, there's a couple that they've like reprinted, and they're like, these are from these are from the Legacy series, but they like we are heavily influenced by like this. So if you want to know about Thrawn, this series is like where Thrawn got his start. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But this leads me to my question. What legacy story or arc or whatever would you like to see adapted into like, or would you like to see incorporated in the same way that they've kind of like brought Thrawn in? Like, is there a certain arc or like villain or characters that you would like to see incorporated into canon Star Wars?
I mean, I would there are some characters that I would absolutely love to see. Mm-hmm. I would love to see Mara Jade. Mm-hmm. I don't think that she could be a lover for Luke in the way that she is in the books, because Luke has pretty clearly taken a very different journey. Yeah. But I think that there could still be like her presence. And that could still be dynamic. I would love to see a Tanel Ka type character. Because she is so powerful and just, gosh, I just love that character so much.
Was she like, remind me who she was? She was like a Force user, right?
Yes, she's from, I'm going to get this wrong because it's been so long. But if memory serves, she is from Dathomir. She's a princess of Dathomir. She's not a
That's cool.
she is a Dathomiri witch, but that got changed. So like Dathomir became a big part of like the Clone Wars series.
Yeah.
And Rebels and whatever, and it got changed a lot from like what it was, which is fine. So I can't remember if she's actually one of the witches or if she's one of the other. There's like two groups of people on Dathomir. She might not be one of the witches. Anyway.
Okay.
But she is very Force sensitive. Her lightsaber is made out of a Rancor's tooth, which is just so cool.
That is pretty metal.
Right?
I think the idea of like a Dathomir witch turned Jedi is really cool and really interesting. Because like, what if you could use both?
Right.
What if you could do like Dathomir magic and use the Force? That's pretty OP. Mm-hmm. And a Rancor tooth lightsaber.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
She's very cool. I like Tanel Ka is one of my all-time favorite characters.
Yeah.
For sure. There's the Yuzhan Vong. That arc is so confusing and so bleak, but there's so much to it. I think they could very easily pull from that and adapt it into something.
Yeah, especially since they just because you finished the Ahsoka show, right?
Yeah.
Spoilers for the Ahsoka show, but they end up in another galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Maybe the Yuzhong Vong are there.
Could be. Well, and also, one of the main points of the Yuzhong Vong arc is that there's a rogue planet that's alive.
Yeah, creepy.
It's also creepy. That whole arc is so disturbing, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It reminds me of, now that I've been playing Baldur's Gate, the ship in Baldur's Gate, I'm like,
yeah, they're very mind flayer.
This is such a Yuzhan Vong ship.
Uh-huh.
It's totally not.
Yeah.
But the aesthetic is almost exactly what I had imagined while I was reading. So
this weird biomechanical type of technology that's all organic and fleshy and squishy and gross.
Yeah, because the Yuzhan Vong ships are described as being alive too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is very reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Cool.
Do you have? I mean, you didn't read as much, but
yeah, I didn't read any of those.
You read some the Boba Fett books and the Jedi Apprentice books, though. I think that some of those could be. I mean, Boba Fett maybe not because they're doing their own thing with Boba Fett, but I think that some of those young Jedi Apprentice books they could borrow from and.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I read those Jedi Apprentice ones. The Boba Fett ones were the books that I really latched onto.
Yeah.
And made me really like Boba Fett as a character. But
I suppose they could.
I feel like
they could still do a young Boba Fett.
I was gonna say I feel like you could. I mean, they did incorporate young Boba Fett into some Clone Wars stuff, but I feel like that could be its own thing, like an animated show like Clone Wars.
Yes,
that's a young Boba Fett.
Yes, give it to me.
I would eat that. Oh, that'd be so good.
It would be. I'm kind of over the old Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Just cause.
Yeah.
Got too much Mandalorian stuff going on.
I want to see how he got to that point.
Right.
To where I want to see how he got to be like Jabba's top bounty hunter.
Yeah.
It's cool. So what? This is changing trajectories. What Star Wars movie is your favorite?
Oh gosh.
I feel like we've talked about this. Mine is Episode 3.
Yeah. Are we talking about the Star Wars or the Skywalker saga?
Yeah, we're talking Skywalker saga.
Okay. I think that it has to be Empire Strikes Back.
I knew you were going to say that. I feel like we've talked about this before. But
yeah.
I just wanted to retouch on that and also ask, why do you think that one is your favorite?
Well...
Is it all because of Han and Leia?
I mean, that's a big part of it, because at the time, that was such a thing for me. But I also think that it's Luke's transformation with Yoda. It's the best spin of it all. There's a lot that happens in that movie. The stuff on Hoth is very interesting. I think that, but the Han and Leia of it all, watching, the actual sparks of their romance begin, their first kiss,
And I think you were at like the perfect age for that to land,
Oh, for sure.
like right the way it needed to.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like how, for me with episode 3, I feel like I was the target audience for the prequel
You
movies.
absolutely were.
Like
You were maybe a little young.
100%. For some things, yeah.
But in general, yes.
But episode 3, that's my jam.
Mm-hmm.
The corruption of Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Love a good corruption arc. Some of the best like lightsaber fight choreography
True.
to date. I think it still holds up. I think that fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan is maybe the best lightsaber fight in the franchise.
Completely agree.
Yeah, and it's just like, yes, it's a lot of CGI. It's mostly CGI. But I feel like the special effects were really, at the time, they were innovative and
This is going to be crazy of me to say, and I'm fully aware. I know that if the Star Wars movies had not existed, that CGI would not be as advanced as it is now. Like, I understand that the work that Skywalker Ranch did on the prequels was groundbreaking and opened so many doors for movies. And I know that, like you said, it's kind of dated, but I would take the prequels CGI over some of the new stuff. Like the new the Hobbit movies, no thank you. Could do without.
Yeah.
I think that Star Wars has done a good job of marrying the visual effects that they can achieve with like things happening for real, like puppets. And the CGI pretty well, honestly.
I think they combined the practical with the practical effects with the special effects really, really well. And I think comparing like Star Wars with The Hobbit, Star Wars had the benefit of like all of those battle droids were fake.
Right.
All those clones were fake.
Right.
The only time you see a clone that's not fake is when they take their helmet off, and even then it's just a floating head on a fake body.
Right.
But it's still a real person's head. So they had the benefit of like a lot of the CGI like people were either a robot, so it didn't have like a face, or they had a helmet on that was masking them. With The Hobbit, they tried to do a lot of CGI with like things with faces.
Yeah.
And expressions and things that emote.
Right.
And it didn't carry over as well as they wanted to. I don't think they pulled it off as well.
But they had like 20 years to work on it.
Right. Yeah.
Like the time frame between the prequels, the Star Wars prequels, and the Hobbit movies coming out, like there's a lot of time for CGI to develop as an art. Anyway, my point is that like even though the prequels are heavily CGI, I still think it's done well. I know that when I was younger, it was something that bothered me because it didn't feel like the movies from the 80s or from the 70s or whenever. But like that's unrealistic too. Yeah. To expect something that's brand new to look like it was made in the 70s, like, come on.
Yeah, and those prequels are like space operas.
Right.
I mean, like the original trilogy is very like anti-authoritarian, like almost the first like cyberpunk type, like we've got lasers and we're fighting this evil empire that's like trampling us and making life terrible, and we're sticking it to the man. And the man is like 7 feet tall and wears black leather with a red laser sword.
Like
space
obviously
wizard.
The bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the prequels, it's like political intrigue and...
Well, yeah. The prequels are all about how do you get to a point where that regime is in place.
Right.
How does that happen? How does... What do they say? How does...
This is how liberty dies.
This is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Yeah.
So...
That might be her best line in the franchise.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's one of her best lines for sure.
That's a great line.
Like, Lucas was on it with that line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The romance stuff left a lot to be desired in the prequels. But
you mean you didn't like the scene where Anakin and Padme were frolicking through the meadows in Naboo in episode 2?
at the time, I absolutely ate that up. Are you kidding?
Yeah, but as an adult,
But
you look
as an
back and you're like,
adult,
ugh.
it doesn't hold up. Whereas, like, the
Yeah.
Han and Leia stuff, it still holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're, like, snarky with each other. And
Yeah.
not that romance is supposed to be snarky like that. I guess my point is, like, you can tell that
They've
these are
got
two
rapport.
people
Yeah.
that get along, but they're annoyed that they get along.
Yeah.
And they have good rapport. But the Anakin and Padme stuff, as an adult, is like, ooh, they're just babies. But not really, because Padme is so much older than him, and that's weird. Why? So many whys.
There's a weird age gap.
There's a weird age gap. Yeah.
Well, to switch gears again. Next question will inform the following question.
Okay.
Jedi or Sith? And this is, I'm going to read the Jedi code and the Sith code.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me which one you think you actually align with more.
Oh boy. Okay. You're not going to tell me which one is which?
You'll be able to tell.
Okay.
First, there is no ignorance. There is knowledge. There is no passion. There is serenity. There is no chaos. There is harmony. There is no death. There is the Force.
Okay.
And through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. I just want to, first of all, say neither one of them really sound evil.
No. And you could apply either of them to the other. Like, based on their actions.
Oh, and there's one more line. The Force shall free me after my chains are broken.
Well, they sound like two sides of the same coin, which is like the intent.
Yin and yang,
Yeah.
that's...
Lots of Eastern influence here. You want to know which one I align with more?
Yeah. Like, if you could see yourself more as one or the other, which would you see yourself as?
Well, okay. So the first one, clearly the Jedi one, is focused more on, like, intellect.
You want me to read it again?
Sure.
There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the Force.
Yeah, I mean, the focus on knowledge and, like, harmony, I feel like, is more in tune with me as a person, probably. But there are things about the Sith that I also can appreciate.
Oh, I'm sorry. The one that I read... Okay, let me read the Sith one again, because there's actually, like, a more complete one. The one I read was, like...
Okay.
Only part. So, peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.
I don't know. Did you expect me to go a certain way?
I was just curious.
I mean, I think that the Jedi one is one that I align with more for the reasons that I already stated. I'm not very, like, power hungry.
Right.
Or, like, strength hungry. But the, like, liberation aspect of the Sith is very appealing.
Yeah, there's part of it. It's like, I like the whole through victory my chains are broken, the force shall free me. It's like the oppressive systems like constraining you and trying to make you act a certain way or be a certain way. Even though they're like man-made systems or whatever.
Sure.
It's very like anarchist. So like the inner rebel in me is very like,
Which is so ironic.
yeah, like really like the Sith code more so than like there is no passion. Like the
Right.
Jedi one, part of it seems very like soulless,
Yeah.
you know? And like there is no ignorance, there's knowledge, there's no passion, there's serenity. So it's just this idea of like not having any attachments, you know?
Yeah. I think that is definitely one of the greatest downfalls of the Jedi. I think they had that wrong, which I appreciate how some of the newer Star Wars shows are exploring with the concept of gray Jedis. These Force users that exist between the light and the dark, and have more of a balance. I appreciate that a lot, actually. But like the ironic thing is how the Sith code doesn't feel like it's something that would be used to enslave a bunch of people.
Right. Yeah. It's like I think that people could adhere to that code and be good people and not be evil.
Right.
And like murder. It kind of reminds me of like the Gryffindor Slytherin thing.
Yeah.
Where like you can be a Slytherin and not be a Death Eater.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So that's kind of what it's giving for me. So I was just curious what your thoughts were between those two.
Yeah. Well, I think that, in the Clone Wars, when Ahsoka, spoiler, leaves the Jedi Order, it's because she's realizing that there are some definite issues with the structure that's in place. And it's not her saying that she wants to be a Sith, it's just her realizing, like, oh, we have a problem. And no one wants to fix it.
Yeah.
Because even, man, you guys, if you haven't watched the Clone Wars show, it does such a good job of bridging the gaps that are left from Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And it leads you right up to the end. And it's just...
that final season, man.
so amazing and so heartbreaking. It's very well done.
Props to Dave Filoni.
For sure.
So, with that being said, if you were force sensitive, what color of lightsaber would you want?
Oh, we've taken quizzes on this. What color would I want?
But I mean,
though?
what would you want though?
I am really partial to Ahsoka's white lightsaber that she ends up with. It's very
pretty
cool.
slick. I think, did I get that when we took that quiz?
You might
I
have.
might have gotten white.
You might have. I think I got blue. I got whatever. Or did I get green? I got one of Luke's, but I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah. The white ones are really cool, though.
The white ones are really cool.
I really like yellow, like in Jedi Power Battles. Throwback, that PlayStation 1 gem.
Yes.
Plo Koon had like this orangey, yellowy lightsaber.
Yeah.
And I really liked playing as him. But also, at the very end of Rise of Skywalker, we only see her for like 2 seconds, but Rey has a yellow lightsaber. Like, man, we could have had more colors. All we had were green and blue and one time purple.
Yeah.
Other than the Sith, but they're all red and it's boring.
Yeah.
So just all be red.
Yeah. Yeah. Attack of the Clones, there were more, like in the scene with on Geonosis. There's a bunch of colors, right?
They were all blue or green.
Were they? Oh, maybe they were.
Except for Mace Windu.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He got purple.
Because Samuel L. Jackson wanted purple.
Yeah. And when Samuel L. Jackson wants a certain color...
Apparently he gets it.
You give it to him. But it's cool. He rocks it.
He apparently didn't know that he was actually getting purple until, like... He didn't know if it was actually going to happen or not. Until it was
because
on set.
In the game, in Jedi Power Battles, his was blue.
Yeah.
So I think it was thought that he was going to have a blue one for a long time. Mm-hmm. But then the second episode came out and he actually got to ignite it and it got to be purple.
There's an interview that's been going around recently of the actress that plays Bo-Katan in the Mandalorian shows.
Oh, not knowing that it was Luke?
Yeah.
Spoiler for Mandalorian.
This is like years old now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is at the end of season 2 where Luke shows up. But they had told her that it was like Kit Fisto or something, and so she just believed it.
I think it was Plo Koon. It was actually Plo Koon.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did you think that?
Yeah. And the other gal who plays, oh my gosh, I can't think of the character's name now. Boba Fett's buddy. What's that character's name?
Oh, Boba Fett's buddy?
Yeah.
The assassin lady?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
Anyway, she was like, he had R2-D2 with him.
Yeah.
And Bo-Katan was like, no. I just thought it was something else. And she goes, it was shaped like R2-D2. How did you not put it together? And that's just like... That's a true fan. It's just like allowing herself to suspend any disbelief and just accept that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of a beautiful thing that she just believed the lie and then got to be surprised.
I'm glad she got to be surprised.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I would not have been surprised.
No.
If that were me, I would have been like, that's Luke.
Yeah.
Because I know what Luke's lightsaber looks like. I know what his outfit looks like. They could change the color and it wouldn't matter. I'd be like, why does Luke have a blue lightsaber?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, oh, it's Plo Koon.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But that's a good episode. So in terms of Star Wars stuff, that's pretty much all I had.
Wow.
We've gone over pretty much all my things.
Did you notice on Disney Plus, they have started to put some of the old Star Wars movies out there, like the straight to VHS, like the Ewoks and the Droids movies.
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about?
Things. You know how many times we checked that Ewok thing out from
So
Blockbuster?
many times. I
Oh,
saw it
my
on
goodness.
Disney Plus, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for my classes to be done so that I can just enjoy watching some old, nostalgic, terrible Star Wars movies.
Oh, yeah. Really bad.
I'm sure they're fine. I just...
No, it's bad.
They are what they are. They're movies based around C-3PO and R2-D2 and the Ewoks. Like, they're fun, though.
Yeah.
I'm
They are
excited.
fun.
But yeah, they're on Disney Plus.
Good to know. Good to know. I think that old Cartoon Network
Yes.
Clone Wars, 2D Clone Wars show is on there too, which is some of my favorite Star Wars. It's so over the top. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, that was
General
the start
Grievous
of it.
was... See, General Grievous was actually terrifying in that.
Yeah.
And I do kind of... I do have strong opinions on what they did to General Grievous's character in the canon Clone Wars show, because he turned into just a punching bag for the good guys. He's not scary at all.
He's an odd... Okay, let's camp out here on General Grievous for a hot second. What came first? His appearance in Revenge of the Sith? Or in that 2D animated Clone Wars thing?
I think it was the 2D.
Okay. He is scary.
I think.
He's like a creepy spider robot thing. Like,
In Revenge of the Sith, he is intimidating.
except that he's
yeah.
like, he's intimidating because he's huge. He's way bigger than you think he's going to be.
I gotta look
And
up
he
when those things came out
breathes.
because
His breathing is wild. But he also is like sick. He's sickly, which is an odd choice. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Why did they do that?
Okay, so the Clone Wars, the 2D animated thing was 2003. Revenge of the Sith was 2005.
Okay.
So it was first. So it did bridge the gap between episode 2 and episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
And what it did, so yes, they made Grievous, they gave him a cough in the movie.
But why?
The show explained why. It's because Mace Windu used the Force to crush his chest in when he was escaping with the Chancellor.
See?
He didn't have a cough the entire time until the very end. He's escaping with the Chancellor on his ship, and Mace Windu crushes his chest, and then he coughs for the first time. He's like, it's like, that's why. And that's why in like episode 3, he's not pulling off nearly as many crazy maneuvers as he was in that show.
Fascinating. See, that's great. What good continuity.
Mm-hmm.
A bummer if you didn't watch the 2D show.
I think that was still Dave Filoni. I think that was still him.
I believe it.
If you haven't seen all of it,
I have not, apparently.
You definitely. It's not even that long. You have to watch.
I think I just
They're
didn't have
so good.
access to it because I know you had them. Like you got them on
Yeah.
DVD, but I don't think that I had access to them. But they're on Disney Plus now, so
Yeah, you should definitely watch those.
I should. I also need to watch. I watched Rebels. What's the next one?
Bad Batch.
No. I watched season 1 of Bad Batch. I should watch season 2. I know.
I think season 2 just ended.
I know. I didn't watch. I think I watched the first episode of it and then was like, I don't know if I have it in me to hang out with these clones.
That's fair.
I had to pick and choose. Life's been very busy.
Yeah.
No, there's another animated. It takes place after the original trilogy. Right?
Oh, that Resistance
Yes,
show.
that one. I have not watched that one.
I haven't heard the best things about it.
Yeah.
I was gonna skip it, but
I know, but as a completionist, I feel like I need to.
it's part of the canon. I must ingest.
I mean, I kind of feel that way. Except like, I haven't watched the Bad Batch stuff, so I don't know.
Oh, there's also that Tales of the Jedi
Ooh, yeah.
show.
Yes.
Have you seen all that?
I don't. Have they come out with more episodes?
I don't know.
I saw the first season. I don't know if they came out with more.
They might be coming out with more sometime. I loved that show too. That show was awesome. Anyway, you should watch that 2D Clone Wars from 2003.
I really should. I watched some of it while it was airing.
Yeah.
But they were such short. You had to catch them at just the right time on the Cartoon Network, and we could never quite figure it out to catch the new ones.
I was camped out waiting. I was like, I have to watch. I have to see it.
I know. I couldn't. Yeah. Anyway.
So, yeah, there's our Star Wars nostalgia for the day. Happy Star Wars month.
Happy Star Wars month.
We'll just treat it like Star Wars month.
I love it.
Yeah, with that, let's get into our current our lists of media that we have consumed.
Okay.
Would you like to start?
Sure. Yeah. So for my reading, The Obelisk Gate, which we finished, you guys. The next read along is going to be The Stone Sky, and it starts next week. And your reading assignment is chapters 1 and 2. So mini plug for that.
Nice.
I've been reading some more of the Witch Hat Atelier, which is that manga series that I'm very slowly moving my way through, but I had some downtime and got to pick up another volume of that, and that was lovely. The Jumbies is a middle grade fantasy set in Caribbean island, and I am drawing a blank on the name of it now. But anyway, it's very spooky.
Jamaica.
It's not
Nassau.
It's not Jamaica. I want to say Haitian, but
Oh.
it might be somewhere else. Anyway, it's spooky. It's good. Highly recommend.
Cool.
Also read The Witch of Woodland. The Witch of Woodland, which is a story about a Jewish girl who is like wrestling with her identity as a like young Jewish person and also a witch, and like how do those things go together? And it's very whimsical and fun.
Nice.
That's all for reading right now. Unless I'm probably forgetting things, but that's okay.
You couldn't see it, listener, but my eyebrows just like shot way up like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's it.
We had a couple weeks where we had movies to watch instead of books to read. So that helps.
Yes.
So that means my watching list is longer. Blake and I have been watching Hunter x Hunter.
Classic.
We watched the Dungeons and Dragon Honor Among Thieves movie.
Really quick, can I ask how far you are in Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah. I slept through a couple episodes because I was so tired. But
Again, classic.
yeah. But I think that we just got past the part, it's still the first arc. You know, where they're on the podium fighting the, you know what I'm talking about? They're in
like
the
big
thing.
blue guy and the...
They're in the thing, the big tower thing.
Yeah.
And they're fighting on that podium to the death or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we just finished that up. So, making our way to the little dungeon crawler that is Arc 1 of Hunter x Hunter.
Nice. Speaking of dungeons.
Speaking of dungeons, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I feel a little bit torn about it. Have you seen it?
I have.
Yeah, I wasn't like as in love with it as I hoped I would be.
It had really fun moments.
It did. It had great moments. Like some of the problem solving that the characters went through was very D&D.
Yeah. Lots of really funny Easter eggs, lots of cool monsters from the game.
Yes.
Like the
climax was weird.
Yeah.
And I thought the movie was over, and then they were like, "Oh no, we can't. It's not over yet." And then they went back, and I was like, "What? I thought that you were just getting set up for a sequel, but no, we're gonna do it right now."
Yeah, the like the pacing and the plot.
Yes.
Like the actual like conflict. Because it's been a while since I've seen it, and this is the problem with the movie. I couldn't tell you what the actual conflict was. Like, I know there was a red wizard of Thay. I think they were trying to like turn a whole city into undead people, but like
it was very like side note to what the main characters were trying to accomplish.
It felt disconnected. It felt like the main characters just kind of stumbled upon this. It didn't feel like the conflict related to any of them significantly at all.
Right. Correct. Which maybe that's also the way D&D is sometimes.
Yeah, that does feel kind of D&D. Yeah.
But not a movie. So like, I appreciate how much they were like sticking to the RPG, and trying to stay true to it. But like at some point, it's a movie, so you gotta get it together a little bit. You know what I mean?
I did still enjoy it, but I agree with everything you're saying. I think it could have been adapted better.
Yeah. Godzilla x Kong. Saw that in theaters. That was a good monster movie. They cut away from a couple too many of the fights, though. Like, there were quite a few moments where it was like monster on monster, and then it would just like cut away, and suddenly you'd see the one that was victorious. And it was like, why'd you do this dirty like that? Why don't you give us... We're here for a monster movie. That's goofy.
Yeah.
Bluey. I'm going to keep talking about Bluey, you guys. I cannot stress enough how good it is. And they just had some new episodes drop. And they're very good. It's like cheap therapy, okay? Even if you're an adult.
No, I'm not judging you at all.
I know you're not. It's a hard sell. I know. But I'm selling it. Okay. Also watched the Fallout show. Which I have not played any of the games. So, well, I can't quite say that now. But at the time of watching it, I had not played any of the games. So,
Right.
but still enjoyed it very much. And then for some reality/game show TV, watched an episode of Game Changer.
Love it.
Love that, always. It was the Deja Vu episode, which if you know, you know, and do the weenus dance.
I think I've seen a clip of that on TikTok.
It's great. It's really good. And then also Taskmaster. So I've been watching some Taskmaster, which is really fun. For playing, Blake has Fallout New Vegas. So I have made a character, and I've gone to the bar, and I'm tootling around.
I have not played that one. I've only played the first little bit of Fallout 4, which I think came out after New Vegas. But I think New Vegas is like a beloved game.
Yeah.
Like, people love that game.
I mean, so far it's fun.
Yeah.
And let's see. Blake got me a karaoke card game.
That's cute.
It was fun. We played that a little bit. And he also got me Here to Slay, but we have not played that yet.
Nice.
But that'll be fun when we do play.
The game was cute.
Yes.
And fun.
Yes. I remember it having a bit of a learning curve, and at the time that we were like sitting down and trying to figure out how to play, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I have it in me.
Did we play that with our parents once?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That was the unicorn one.
You're right. It was Unstable Unicorns. How could I forget?
The narwhals are so cute. Ooh,
There.
that reminds me. I watched The Last Unicorn.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It is very much a product of the 80s.
Yeah.
And
I think it was a book.
It is, yeah. It's a book by Peter S. Beagle. I have the book. I've never read it. The book is not made for kids. Like, it's not written for kids.
Right.
The movie, the screenplay is adapted or written by the same author, so
That's cool.
that is cool. There are things about the movie that I'm like, ooh, this seems like not good for kids. But like, it's fairly like, I don't know. It was a ride. I'm glad to have watched it. I am very intrigued to read the book. But anyway.
So one of my favorite YouTube duos are the Game Grumps, and one of them, Dan, The Last Unicorn is like his favorite book of all time.
Interesting.
And he's talked about it several times.
Yeah. So I intend to read it. I just haven't had the time yet. And now that I've seen the movie, I'm like, ooh, I really want to see the book. Because I read the book. Because I feel like it'll be even better.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the movie definitely, not that being from the 80s is a bad thing. But it is a very specific...
It's different.
Je ne sais quoi.
It's a vibe.
Yes.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Cool. Very good. Well, we have some overlap, and one of them I'm excited to talk to you about because I didn't know about this overlap.
Oh.
But we're not in there yet. Watching first.
Okay.
So.
Watching first.
Which
okay.
Watching Fruits Basket.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm also watching that. We're watching that together.
Yeah. Hope and I. Okay, so I had watched Free Rin.
Oh, I watched a couple episodes of Free Rin too, and I've also watched a couple of episodes of Hazbin Hotel. I'm sorry.
Nice.
I am. I'm
so happy.
Blake and I have decided to watch the Hazbin Hotel together, so that's like going to be a slow. But anyway.
I love it so much. But yeah, Free Rin. Hope and I. So I had seen it. Hope had not. So we watched it again. I watched it again with Hope.
Was it just as good the second time?
It was even better the second time.
Aww.
The rewatch is great.
That's awesome.
I love that show. Like,
I can't wait to have some time to actually binge something.
I haven't had a show like have me in such a vice grip of like feels. Like, I loved Has-Been for very specific reasons. It scratched an itch, and I love the music in it. But Freerin is a much more like wholesome,
Yeah.
just like hopecore.
Yeah.
The last episode. Anyway, Freerin we watched. Still watching Hunter x Hunter with my buddy Alex from work.
Right.
We are in the Heaven's Arena arc now.
Oh, you guys are moving way faster than we are.
We're trucking along.
We have too many shows.
That's been,
So we're just like slowly eating our way through.
yeah, for sure. That's how it goes. Also watched the Fallout show, which I really, really enjoyed, even though I've only played like a couple hours of Fallout 4.
Had
Loved
Hope
it.
played it?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Then you didn't experience. Blake played the games, and so we had a very I had a very special viewing experience because he was getting so excited about some of the Easter eggs that I didn't even know were Easter eggs, and that was such a fun experience to watch someone totally nerding out while you're watching something together. Anyway, it was cute.
The realization that the vaults are messed up experiments.
Yeah.
And there's hundreds of vaults that all have different messed up experiments. Crazy. Hope and I have been watching some Doctor Who.
Oh.
Just for fun.
Nice.
While she works on sewing stuff for upcoming Ren Fair / Fan Expo.
Oh yeah.
And we also, since we steal one of our friends' Mac's account, we went on there and we watched some Star Wars Robot Chicken.
Oh my gosh. Wild.
Which was so funny. It's so stupid.
Is it funnier now?
It's so stupid. Oh, no, of course not. It was it's so much fun. It's so funny the first time, but it was really nostalgic, and it's just such stupid humor.
Yeah.
But I love stop motion, and it's just so goofy. Of course, Critical Role Campaign 3. I've also been trying to watch the most recent Candela Obscura because Liam O'Brien is the DM and Taliesin Jaffe is playing.
Ooh.
Finally.
It's his baby. Why hasn't he been playing?
And they're all self-contained things. So this is its own self-contained story. So I'm trying to get into this one, and I'm halfway through the first episode, and it sounds really good. We also went to see Godzilla Kong in theaters, and that was just some good monster movie camp.
Yeah.
Just
for sure.
For reading though, Obelisk Gate, as you mentioned, finished that up. Stone Sky is the next one. I am also reading Witch Hat Atelier.
Oh, is that how you say it?
It is. It's French. But I looked it up. I looked it up before recording so that I knew how to say it.
I've just been saying Atelier this whole time because that's what it looks like to me.
I didn't want to interrupt you and spoil that I've been reading it too. But no, it's Witch Hat Atelier.
Okay, well. How far are you?
It's very cute.
It's so cute.
I just got to volume 7.
Dude, you're ahead of me.
Well, it helps that Hope already owned them all.
Oh, I own them too, dude.
Oh, you have all of them?
I have many of them.
Oh, okay.
I have through volume 7. I'm on 5.
Okay, yeah. It's very cute. I like it a lot.
It's so cute. And the magic system is so fascinating.
Isn't that... Man, what a cool magic! You have to draw the spells, and you have to draw it just right, and you have to seal it with a circle. It's very cool. It's very cool. So I've been having a good time with that.
Good.
I'm
and then
so
for school, jealous that you have had so much more time to read manga. I have so many.
Well,
I want to read.
I am a full-time student, but I am a part-time employee.
Yeah.
Whereas you are doing full-time both. So
also dating someone.
True.
You're married. It's different.
You can ignore your significant other.
That's not what I mean. There's also
it's not.
a kid in the mix on my situation.
That is true.
So
your situation is much more time demanding. But for my school reading, I finished reading Manchurian Legacy.
I feel like I just need to interject right here that I do not at all resent you, Blake.
I think he knows that.
That was not me being like, ugh, and I have a boyfriend. Sorry.
Yeah, I understand.
Manchurian Legend.
That's funny.
Yes.
Manchurian Legacy.
Legacy. So not the Arthurian Legend.
No. It is not.
Although,
it is about
both talk about conquering
Okay.
and potential colonization issues.
I don't know enough about the Arthurian legend to speak to this, but I'll trust you.
Well, I'm just thinking all about like Normandy versus.
Oh yeah, the French coming in and like okay. But no, that was a very. If you have any interest in like Japan in World War II, you would find it extremely interesting because it is a autobiography. It is a primary source of it's someone's eyewitness account of things that happened from like a Japanese colonial citizen living in a colony at the end of World War II after Japan's empire collapses, and how they escape and what life was like. And it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And like seeing her go from the super patriotic, my country can do no wrong, and seeing that transform into that oh crap moment of like, are we the bad guys? Or not even so much are we the bad guys, but more like, oh, I was lied to. That was propaganda. Like,
yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But no, it's very interesting.
I read Joseph's paper on it, and that was very interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. Very much.
For my playing, it has been a D&D and Baldur's Gate once again. Now that my semester is over, I'll have a little bit of a break. So I'm hoping to finish up this Baldur's Gate run, and then I'll probably let it sit for a bit and explore some other things.
How many times have you played through it now?
This will be my third full run through, but I have another one that I'm like on the last act. I just kind of like ran out of steam.
It happens.
And I restarted with a different character.
It happens. I will get back to Baldur's Gate as well.
Yeah, for sure. For D&D though, oh my goodness. We almost lost the egg.
I was just going to ask about the egg.
Not only did we almost lose the egg, we almost lost the character carrying it.
Oh no!
They almost died in a magical maze, and there would have been no way for us to recover the body. Like, it would have been super, super Dunyan rings. Like, because I have a spell where I can revive someone if they haven't been dead for more than 10 days. Like,
but you have to have the body.
I'm a cleric, and my domain is the grave domain. Like, this is my jam.
Yeah.
But I can't do nothing if your body is unfindable.
Oh my.
That was because in order to exit the maze, you had to concentrate on going home, and it was a con save. And Thrill is notoriously terrible with those, which is why he always gets drunk whenever we're at a bar. But anyway, and he's also a cat person. So, like, this is part of his backstory of being a cat person. He's very easily distracted.
Fair.
So he kept failing his saves and going into these trap rooms of the maze, like, on his own, that are supposed to be navigated with a group. And he almost got killed by a monster.
Oh my.
It was a tense moment.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure Sarah was like, oh, oh.
Yeah, because he was also carrying an item that was, like, vital for the plot. And if he... Like, the bad guys wanted. And if they couldn't get that, there was really no way for them to complete their evil plan.
Yeah.
So, like, it would have been really funny. That is how we prevented the cult of the dragon from taking over Faerun.
We
dying
let
in a hedge maze.
person die in a hedge maze. Hedge maze.
Hedge maze. Silly. But no, it's been really fun. I think
Nice.
we just leveled up to level 9, and we're
Nice.
like halfway to level 10 already.
Dude.
So,
Amazing.
yeah, man. It's going great.
Blake and I played some Magic too.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. I forgot.
I'm excited to play Magic when you guys come down, or when maybe we'll get a chance when we go up for 4th of July.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be
because that was really fun. It's a lot of fun to play with Blake because it's nice to have a rules interpreter on hand.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And he gets so excited. It's so cute.
So
that's just a me thing, probably. But anyway.
Probably. But that's okay. It's expected.
Thank you.
Well, I guess for next week, go ahead and, if you're planning on participating with our read-along, go read the first 2 chapters of Stone Sky. But I guess until next time, happy Star Wars Month.
And we'll talk at you next time.
Later.
Bye.